Okay, we're in the pre-show right now of the weekly scam. So just double checking what we're going over real fast. We're going to basically do a little catch up, what's going on. I'm going to go over to the scam news this week, which CNN Money Reports, Presbyterian Hollywood. I'll talk about that a little bit, how they paid Bitcoins. We'll talk about phishing. We'll take a break. And then we'll come back after the break and talk about the certification.
Yeah.
We'll go to our website, which I just stuck in there.
Teaching lesson that
which is the verification training for Blab.
Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
Okay. A couple seconds of silence. Welcome to episode 2 on timelines of the weekly scam. It's Friday, February 19th. Oh boy, nice Friday. I like Fridays. Friday's a nice day. How you doing, Mike?
I'm doing great. Yeah, it's great here in Northeast Ohio. We had a bunch of snow this week, but it's supposed to be 60 tomorrow. So
wow, that's strange.
So now we're going to go from treacherous roads to flooding. So all within about 48 hours. So
it's a little cool today, but we have snow on the roofs. Most of the snow melted on the ground. We're about 3 or 4 inches down the valley floor. We're at 5,000 feet. Reno is between 4,500 and 5,000, and then the foothills start, and then it goes up way high in the mountains. We have some peaks close to 13,000 behind us, and then we've got Tahoe, of course. But we've had a lot of snow. We had 3 avalanches actually yesterday up behind us in Squaw Valley, and it blocked it off. It actually blocked it off and swept covered a bus up. You know, you're pretty safe in an avalanche though if you get covered in a bus, as long as you don't go off a cliff.
I don't know. Living in the in Chicago and Illinois, and now here in Ohio, everything's flat. So
yeah, you just dig out. If you go they just dig out because they got the space to move the snow. If you ever get an avalanche, you got to swim and try to get up on top of it and keep some space so you can dig yourself out. I've done a lot of avalanche training and mountaineering, but anyway,
so we're going to go from snow to fishing.
Yeah, the fishing. We're going to talk about fishing.
What do we want the people to know about fishing? And we're not talking about with a pole.
It's not ice fishing. So, yeah, I want to go back into the news a little bit. I want to talk about the news. We really haven't gotten to the news first this week. The biggest scam this week, we want to talk about some scams on the news, scams locally. The biggest scam that happened this week, was in Hollywood Presbyterian Medical Center. They must have really messed up, because if they had their backups working right, this wouldn't have happened. But, you know, the medical records in a hospital is really critical. Somebody definitely messed up, but they got infected. Yeah, they got infected by a virus. Apparently their backups are screwed up somehow, because it put a code on where they ended up paying 40 Bitcoins to the people who actually put a ransom. It was a ransom on to give them the code to decrypt their system. So somehow they got in and really locked down their exchange server somehow. And worst case, maybe it was more expensive for them to completely re-image their system and restore it. But I just want to talk a little bit about that before we go on. I have Mac products, and Microsoft's a little more complicated than Windows, but Mac uses something called Time Machine. And if you just take your backup and you plug it in every night, it gives a backup. And I don't know of any time when somebody couldn't restore, even with the worst of encryption or anything down from the backup. You basically re-image your whole computer, you stick it in, you recover from your backup. And you can go back on your backup. Now, if anybody knows any difference, give us a yell, but I've never heard anybody not being able to use a decent backup from Time Machine to fix any problem. So
where do you think the ball was dropped on that for someone that does have a business that has some very sensitive information, and they want to make sure that it doesn't get kidnapped or hijacked from them?
Well, their entire system should be stored offline, I would think, like in Cobalt. I know we have, like I was saying, their entire system should be stored off like in Cobalt or someplace where we can restore it, where they can always bring it back to the date before the incursion occurred. And maybe, this is pretty complicated, but who knows when they put in that malware to be able to encrypt and lock down our system. But a good backup company or system would have prevented that. So it's obvious that they messed up, but the equivalent was they had to pay $17,000 to the scammers. That happens to people quite a bit. So the other thing, let's see, anything else, other news? We're going to talk about phishing. Let's go out of this story. Phishing sort of fits into this because phishing leads into things like this. Basically, phishing, there's some really good articles. If you go to Wiki and start looking at Wiki about phishing, it is basically people trying to break into your system.
And if you might want to, just for the listeners who maybe don't know, I mean, I kind of heard about this a while ago, but just what does it look like? I mean, I have a couple of things here that that kind of stick out, but what does it look like if somebody just on a not a business? Yeah. Because I had absorbed a virus due to a phishing email that I received, and now I'm much more cautious. So what is the person? What is somebody trying to do when they are phishing your email?
Well, basically, they're trying to send you. The basic thing is they send you an email that looks official, and they're trying to have you give up some key information, mostly your password and probably just your password and your user ID. Those are the two things that they want. So if they know your user ID from other sources, then they come back and try to get your password. And I say your most important password, if you're like using Gmail, could be your Gmail password. I use something called LastPass. Also, OnePass is good. It gives you a little bit more protection because you get used to really encrypting things and going through other mechanisms. But on phishing, though, what it is they'll send you an email. Here's a typical one. And I'm going to read a story, too, I have. They send you an email. It looks like, I've had this happen to me a lot of times. It looks like a Bank of America email. But
let me just mention that they're getting better and better. You see a logo that's familiar, especially if it's from Google or something like that, and you don't even think twice. And a Verizon, and then you start clicking, and then
yeah, nobody's ever going to ask you for your password. Nobody, unless they're your technician working on your machine who's trusted. But no one's going to ask you for your password ever. The bottom line is the easy solution is never, ever, ever give out your password on the machine. Now, let's say you can't remember your password, right? And you send it off and it comes back and you get an email that says, here, recover your password, put in your old password, you put in your new password,
right.
Put a new password in. That's pretty easy to understand. It's legit. The other thing, the clue, it's really important is look at your address. Look at your address, and you can see if it's an official address. The other thing is go to a bank or that person's website and look at the address. Exactly. Call them if you have any questions and report it for sure.
Well, the other thing too that I saw is look for misspellings. If you see some kind of official email and it's loaded with misspellings, don't click any further.
Yeah, if it looks, that's a stupid looking one if it's not.
Yeah. And then also some of the things that I saw is when there's kind of quote unquote idle threats. If you don't do this now, your account will be blocked. So, things like that.
Right now with tax season coming up, there's a lot of fake IRS notices going around.
Mm-hmm.
And you don't want to give out any of your IRS information, Social Security, anything of that nature. And there's also a lot of fake scams going out there too. Like a lot of people have illegal software on their machines or copies where they don't own the license.
Right.
In that sense, I think we've done a scan of your system and we found from Microsoft that you need to pay so many dollars. If you don't, we're going to press charges.
Yep.
That's a big one. One of the very earliest phishing schemes was with AOL. And people were posing as AOL staff members when it was first starting. And that's when it was more prevalent before people were cognizant. And that was like in the early 90s even. Have you ever been hit? Have you ever been hit personally on a phishing scam?
Yes. Well, more. I guess this would go under the phishing. Let me think what it was. It was a popular site. Oh man, what was it? And I started clicking, and my screen went white. And I go, oh man, I just really screwed myself big time here. Ended up having to go to my the company here that helps to clean out everything, and it was about a 90-minute process to get that cleaned out and put back into place. But I got lulled into, the sentence was something that, hey, this looks like something I need to deal with, and I clicked a couple of buttons, and it was not the best. It was not the best afternoon that day.
Well, let me tell you though, not to be afraid, because one of the nonprofits I support, I think the average age is about 60 plus, maybe 60 to 65, and they're really afraid to use computers because of this phishing scam. And what I want to say is, I've seen scamming. My own company, I've seen fake checks because they took one of our checks. We have a construction company in California. They took a check and they copied the check and they just made fake checks and started passing fake checks with the numbers on them. So what we find now is 99% of all our payments are done e-commerce, and it's much more secure than a paper check. So there's so many different ways into your checking account and systems. Floating around check where you're giving all that data out to unsourced locations. Like we make all ours through bill pay, and it goes directly out from the bank into a bill pay system. So it's a little bit more secure than dropping a check here and there, or ETF, electronic transfer. Mm-hmm. But you do need to watch your stuff and watch everything. Hey, right. One last thing. Not now, but 2 years ago I've been in Reno for about 3 years. We first got here, we had 3 or 4 credit cards compromised. Pretty sure it was all the same grocery store. And they basically had to get new credit cards because all of a sudden people started making charges down in Florida or up in Canada.
Well, I had that just about 2 months ago. I had a Visa and a Discover that I got the phone call, like on a Sunday morning or whatever. I didn't recognize the number, but I picked it up, and it was, in this case, the Discover customer service saying, hey, we need to verify some of these charges. And unbeknownst to me, somebody had gotten not my card. I had my card, but they'd gotten my card number.
Yeah, how did they get your card number, do you think?
I don't know, because I don't use that. Again, I have no idea, because I don't use my Discover to pay. I don't use that particular card to pay online. Mm-hmm. So other than that, I don't know.
On my first deployment to Afghanistan, I flew in from the north into the Kazakhstan, and I stopped at Kazakhstan. I was on a U.S. little temporary air base that we were using for landing and refueling before we go into Afghanistan, like a staging base. Mm-hmm. Because we get into different, before we went into Afghanistan, it was a combat zone. We're just above it in the stands. Anyway, I charged something on a Chase card. And I am in the combat zone, so I'm not charging much. It's the only thing I charge. It was one little thing, and it was a Russian guy running the vendor. There's a Russian vendor. And all of a sudden, I see these 2 charges from South America for $12 and $15 on Chase. I never recovered that money. It was too fake, so I just shut it down. I saw him like a month or 2 later. I'm in the combat zone. My wife's paying the bills. No, I didn't charge anything in South Africa. It was only $12 and $15 too.
Nah, the ones that I got hit on Discover, they went right to where did they go? They went right to Overstock. They went right to some vacation sites. Yeah, it's about $3,000.
Yeah, you got to watch. That's a ton. I'm surprised they let that much go through that fast.
Yeah, no, I did not get charged that. They closed down the card. I got a new card.
Hey, did you see Don? Don says, yeah, he's LLC monthly meetings. It's happened to him. You see those things down there, and yep, it's bad. And people go after people. Just went after somebody here in Reno, Nevada, for doing fake checks in a hotel room. They were breaking into people's lockers. They're going to gyms. And get into gyms, just gyms, 2 guys, and they just got them. So anyway, with that, let's go to a break and then come back, and we'll talk about the certifying your site for black.
And I got one other thing that I think people will appreciate here, I can talk about too, as we finish up.
Okay. Okay, we're coming back off the break. Mike, what did you have for the scam?
Well, something that I thought I wanted to make people aware of is, and this came out from the Better Business Bureau, and it was warning of a scam of the One Ring. It's called the One Ring scam, where it involves people receiving missed calls and from on their phone from scammers calling and then hanging up. And if you call back that number, and some of the area, you're going to get charged sometimes as little as $19.95 for that call. You might hear a little music or an audio, but it could be much more. And so if you're getting a call back on an unrecognizable area code, which does make it tough now because with cell phones, there's all kinds of different area codes, but the ones that were the biggest, the biggest ones to watch out for was out of the Dominican Republic. It was area code 809. Out of Jamaica, area code 876. They mentioned the British Virgin Islands, 284, and Grenada, 473. So those are just a few that they mentioned in the article here, that if you do get a one-call hang-up and you see that, do not call it back, because you can end up having a charge. And from what I understand, it's very hard to dispute. And I said they mentioned 1995, but I've heard some of these that were into four figures.
I think that would be really easy to identify as fraudulent, unless they change the number or something or move the number around, because they would get a lot of complaints.
Well, again, the criminals, sometimes you say if they would have put as much effort into doing things the right way, they would probably be a lot more successful. But yeah, because somebody had thought that up and obviously is making money. And what happens is it shows up on your phone bill, and it's not. I guess you can't dispute it. So
I think you can. I think you can on those.
I don't know. I mean, I can't say, because the phone company would have to remove it.
I have disputed something. I've disputed one or two, something weird on my bill. It's AT&T. If you're a good customer, I think they're going to, I don't know. I'm not positive, but the bottom line is just be careful. Don't call back.
Just be careful. Be careful when you're answering emails that are asking for information. In the case of phishing, that just wait a little bit before you click that button, and then also responding back to an unknown phone number that you don't recognize.
I think the most important thing on phishing is look at the address, and you can see if it doesn't look like a Bank of America or whatever your bank might be.
Right.
Two other things is don't ever give out your password to anybody unless it's your IT manager.
Right.
For any of your accounts. Use something like LastPass or OnePass. And then finally, we're going to talk about this next week, but I want to talk about the credit cards. What's the best credit card to use and how to use it? Bank of America and Wells Fargo will have those credit cards, and we'll talk about those and we'll tell them how to get those, where you can set different numbers for different accounts and limits, which is everyone should be using a credit card for business like that. So with that, we want to talk about two last things. I want to give a little class about how you can be certified today. You talk about it a little bit, Mike, and I'll put up the link.
What do you want to talk about? The hypothetical or the truth?
You just talk,
or the lesson behind it.
Both. You lead the way.
Okay. Here's what happened here. I'm going to guess it's going back about 2 weeks. People started seeing the check marks behind their names, and people started asking about those. And the check mark supposedly was referring to being verified on Blab. Well, as we now found out that's really not true, and that having and being there is no such thing as a verification on Blab, and it's something that kind of spread like wildfire. Nobody really knows where it started from or where it came from. But Bill and I had a situation yesterday where we were on a Blab, and somebody reached in on the Blab and said, "I want to be verified. I want to be part of the club," and it just took on a life of its own, where people started to make offers on, hey, we can get you verified for 99 cents and 199 and 147. And it was just all a joke. And again, it kind of took a life of its own. So now everybody is looking to be verified, and Bill will share with you. It's very simple to do, but it has no relevance. It has no significance. It wasn't started by Blab, so they say, and we don't really know where it started. And it was really pretty cool. It was a fun day, but the teaching lesson is it just went viral. Something that was really pretty stupid, and it went viral, and it was you got to take advantage of that. I know one gentleman who kind of took advantage, Tim Gillette. He got a bunch of hits on his website because he was just saying, "Hey, come on over and see what it is to get verified on Blab." and he, again, had fun with it.
So yeah, no, we agree. It was crazy. Hey, something came of it though, and I made something. We made in a couple minutes yesterday. We made a online tutorial while we were on Blab, and we put it up, and we got people certified. But I just put a new link. Sent him $20 money. I just sent a new link in, which is a tutorial I took from the tutorial we made. It's not as good as it could be, but we have the new Blab music on it. We have our Blab weekly scam music on it. Now, see if you can hear this. Next week, I'll get my player and hook it up so you can hear it. So you can hear this. So when I'm recording, I want to show folks how to do it. You hear it? Okay, I'm going to drop this in again. So anyway, you can play. I just put the link up there. It says YouTube. You guys can play it. I just made that up, playing around with a new system. I am building a $5 course, and this is no scam, called it's the $5 Blab course, and basically just has the principles of basics, so you can see them graphically, how to do it, how to set it up online with check marks. So, anyway, it does work though. Anyway, you can watch that. I'm going to see if we can't drop it in. I think yesterday, what did I do? I opened this up. And I went into here and I right clicked. Let me go in and drop in. Keep on talking, Mike. I'm going to drop in. I'm going to drop in the link, the little icon here. And what I'm going to do now, I'm going to make another course, and not another course, but another training system. It's a lot more streamlined. It shows people how to put the check mark in. But what I'm going to do is, and this is how you get email address and information. I'm going to say here, sign up, and I will send you the Mojicon, the check mark, if you put your first name and email address. And that's how that's
what Tim was doing. And he was getting people coming to his, I don't know if it was signing up for his newsletter or on his email list. But yeah, the point being is that here was that little window. You're always looking for something that's going to make you different, something that's going to set you aside. Mm-hmm. Here was that little window. And in his case, he took advantage of it. And nobody was hurt. There wasn't any fraud going on here. There was nothing. It was just, we were kind of having fun. And, people had to continuously say, because again, it wasn't a blab. Hey, this is just fun here. This isn't serious. This isn't real. Because people, even I went on and I went on Tim's show and I had this box here from Amazon, and I go, look, wait a minute, Tim, hold on. I just got this. I just got my check mark from Amazon. So anyway, so we were just having fun with it, and it gets people engaged. I think one of the things we're seeing too is with this new type of platform is having more fun with it. It doesn't have to be so structured and so professional. You're just having fun, because I think people and I take it back to the Chamber of Commerce networking events. You're walking around, you might have had a drink in your hand, you might have, but you're just kind of chatting and laughing and having fun. And that's what these kind of platforms are opening up. Yeah. Is that type of conversation again, so that you can build that know, like, and trust, that people are looking for before they start to do business. And somebody was sharing a story today. I was listening to one where he switched over his cell phone service. Now, this was an extreme case, but he engaged with the president or the CEO of this particular cell phone, and he says it wasn't so much that it was the better cell phone service. He says, I knew the president, and I liked him, and so I switched my business over. So it was.
So anyway, I'm getting a little echo here. For those who do not want to wait till I build that email a delivery system to deliver this little emoji, there's an emoji down there. If you just right click it and you watch the little tutorial we put together, you can just put it on your address. Basically,
the infamous check mark.
You basically be going into your Blab account, into the right side, into settings, and just right next to your full name, just drop in that copy that emoji and just drop it in, and you'll have your check mark. So that's all there is to it. I am building the $5 Blab course, and I think we'll have to create a special little emoji for the $5 Blab course certified. That's legit.
Yeah. That's going to be a bonus.
They do that in professions. They do it all the time. They build associations or companies, organizations. By the way, Monty just dropped in the link. Let me put the link back in. The link to that story we were talking about earlier.
For that article.
The ransom, right. Yeah. And there's more to it. So with that,
I'm going to put in the phone one too, as long as we're dropping in links here.
okay.
Let's see. This was the one on the phone scam.
Hey, as we finish the show, I did want to talk about some real positive stuff. One of the purposes is not to go all negative on the front and to warn people, but just sort of, you can make it online if you work your tail off and work really hard, but it's definitely not easy, I don't think, unless you have a lot of money and you can get trusted people around you and maybe get up and going. But anyone's done anything, whether you've started Amazon or any company, like, the founder of Amazon worked his tail off when he started. He was packing books himself.
Mm-hmm.
But where do you start? First of all, I suggest you learn WordPress really well, inside and out. And then when you contract with people or know what you want and who you're getting it in, that you know how to go get it at a fair price. But the other part of that between WordPress is understanding, like we talked about earlier, about phishing and security and backups for your company. Get a good foundation. There really are a lot of elements. So I was thinking e-commerce or elements of an e-commerce solution, like all the different things you have to do. So you got e-commerce website design. Let's say right now, for example, in closing, I'm putting together online learning management system training. I've had to learn WordPress over the last few years. I've had to get really good at podcasting and in different fields and different trades. And then I have to know trusted people who can help teach me how to do certain things. And one thing you have to know is you have to have e-commerce, you have to have a membership site, and you have to have learning management systems. And they're all based on that platform of WordPress, and they all tie together. And then within those sub-elements, you need to know payment gateways to make sure you get your money back into your e-commerce sites. And they all have to integrate. So there's things like Rainmaker out there. It might make it a little simpler, but there is a lot of study, a lot of work, but it can be done. But maybe the cautious part of this is don't get excited about people who go out and make a lot of money online, because behind the scenes, they've either contracted or worked or been very sharp and understood all of those elements. So if you work at it long enough, you can do it. And Mike, your experience is you've been online selling real estate for about 10 years. So you're
selling insurance.
Insurance, excuse me. So there's elements of online that you're using to allow you to make a living with your business, right?
Absolutely. And I feel privileged in the fact that I didn't have to develop a lot of the portals that somebody who is selling a course or a program has to, just from the payment site. Now, with that being said, and I don't know what you feel about this, Bill, as far as somebody who's just starting out so they can kind of keep their expenses down, is just using PayPal.
Everyone should start with PayPal. Just start playing with it. That's your start. Yeah. The Stripe is behind that, then a merchant account behind that. Yeah, PayPal is probably the easiest. And there's another product by PayPal that's looks more like a traditional credit card system that's out there. I forgot the name. I just saw it the other day. I tried to sign up, had problems signing up. But yeah, PayPal is an easy place to start for a club. But just think of your local nonprofit. Like I have a club. They need a membership site, a way to people have memberships and pay to track it. So just on pieces of paper somewhere. And then they need to be able to take credit cards. And that's not too difficult. But it does take a little bit of work. You have to understand the basics first. My frustration is that, like the volunteer organizations, that people fail to try to learn. And it's not that tough, especially when you have somebody willing to teach them. Well, anything else up, Mike? Let's go to just our normal behind the scenes. This will end the podcasting portion. And we'll leave.
No, I think we talked about phishing. We talked about be aware of phone scams. And then you had talked about just what some corporations are having to deal with. And then again, on a positive note, do your homework, investigate a little bit, find out, really what you need for your business. I think, certainly understanding WordPress is a good step. Don't look to be spending a lot of money, and don't be fooled in saying, hey, by the person or the marketer that says, hey, you got to buy this today or you lose out.
Those are good words to end on today, and we'll see you next Friday. But for the listeners, stay open, and let's have a little blab for the next 10 or 15 minutes. People come in and talk and tell us what they might want us to talk about next week. See you later for the podcasting.
Bye-bye. Welcome. Thanks for coming.
Okay, the YouTube portion is just strict YouTube and recording. Hey, out there, anybody else see anything? Either drop your notes or whatever you might think. I always here's the not the podcast discussion, but I'd say there's a lot of great ways to learn now. For me, the old way was to get a book, go to school, do all this thing. But if you can use checklists with visuals, which we're doing now, and more and more people are figuring out how to, on a call recorder, just record visuals, or you can go up on YouTube and find almost anything. And you make money by taking all that information to YouTube, funneling it down to your own text and making it simpler and easier and faster for people to learn. Like, it would take a lot to teach everything I just talked about in courses or lay it out. But, that's what I'm in the process of doing, is trying to streamline things. But I do think that people overpay for stuff online, even with warranties.
Well, I got to give them credit to the people that are marketing it. I mean, they understand the mindset. You have a lot of people that are looking to make money online because they're in pain, because they're looking for an avenue to supplement their income or replace their income. So they're in pain, and they feel, you know what, I got $2,000 on this credit card. What this guy or gal is sharing, I think, can be the answer. I'll buy that $9.99 course.
I see guys spend thousands of dollars on courses. Thousands. I mean, I made mistakes. I bought some stuff I shouldn't buy, and I need to return. You really shouldn't buy something unless you're willing to learn it and use it, if it's a high dollar.
Well, let me give you a case here. My wife was learning a lot of this, and she's kind of pulled away from it because it really wasn't fitting her. But she was working with a lady who was helping her on some copywriting, and they got to talking about a very well-known person who was offering a course, and she was going to purchase the course. Well, in the conversation, my wife found out that this lady had purchased another kind of copyright course, paid good money for it, hadn't even looked at it, and was ready to buy another course from somebody else. And she said, why don't you go in and learn, at least see what you already bought before you jump in and spend more money? So, there's one gentleman, I get emails from him almost daily, and he is selling something different every single time. And it's all good stuff. The marketing is beautiful. And it's all stuff that's like $7, $17, $29. And there was something that caught my eye. I purchased it like the $11 site. It took me about another half an hour before I got to the final where I could check out because of all the upsells. Oh yeah. All the upsells that were coming after that. And I said it was like 30 minutes before I got to the end where I could actually buy what I initially had, what he was initially advertising.
I'm guilty of that too. I bought a pretty good, and I've got a friend who is really aggressive, but has a lot more money than me. But I brought basically a landing page system, and there's an upsell on design, and I bought the upsell. And I need to get rid of the upsell. I just don't need the upsell. It's too much. It's too much work to learn. I'll tell you what. Here's the examples of a good product. ScreenFlow. ScreenFlow is $100, but it's a good tool, but you still have to work at it to learn it. So you get something, you learn the process. Like, I'm getting bogged down right now on getting my training organized, but I've got what I want for learning management systems. I've got the framework. I've got the tools that I need to put everything together now. And what I've learned too is I can do it a lot cheaper than I thought I could do it in the cost wise. If I get rid of, for now, another place that I spent too much money is on Infusionsoft. And now I'm finding that Infusionsoft doesn't integrate with some of the things that I want to work with.
You can get down a rabbit hole with Infusionsoft.
People love it. The big businesses and people use it and they love it, but it's too much. It's too much.
I think that big business where they're not writing the check, absolutely. I mean, because
they have somebody.
But if you're writing the check, I said I like Get Response. It does what I need as far as being able to capture emails, and I can also send out subscription. I can also send out notices, or I can send out whatever I need to those protective lists.
Well, Aweber is probably the most classic to start using for integration. That integrates with almost everything better than
Well, the
most.
problem with AWeber is they do not like home businesses, and I don't know why, but I've heard a lot of people have had the problem with their AWeber accounts who were marketing a home business.
You mean MLM or what's
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
A lot of companies don't allow MLMs.
Yep.
AWeber, I guess also Infusionsoft is definitely a no-no. So you got to be careful.
Right. So again, to do your homework, when you're going to buy a CRM, customer relation management system, find out what the rules are as far as what you can do based on what you're going to do, because you don't want to go and build this list up and then have the thing shut down. Which, with that being said, whenever you do have a third-party list building CRM, always upload and save your lists to your own computer.
I'm looking at this Periscope workshop. Let's see, people, he said that the money comes. I can't, let me put this into a question. It's always good to put a question. We can flip it up. Question? If I hit the question mark right. Now we could change the name up there and get more people coming on right now.
Well, and two, I see what, and I got to apologize. I can't, Durham Skywriter. I want to say it was her. Tell me, is it Pam? I can't remember if it was Pam.
Yeah, Pat.
That's another aspect of, you can get into the whole copyright issue, the whole LPN kind of thing, is where they'll use the fact that you're a loser if you don't invest in yourself and get you to buy stuff based on the fact that you need this to become a better person. You need this to be successful in your business. And if you're not willing to invest in yourself, you'll never be successful. So, I mean, that's a big message that goes out there that sucks a lot of people in.
But some of that is true, too. You have to invest in yourself. You have to work. You just have to do it wisely.
No, without a doubt. But, I mean, you could invest in yourself and get a tremendous book on Amazon for, $29. You don't need a $9.99 course, So, I mean, it's again, being smart.
The only thing I'd say on the online courses, why they might be more in a book, is on the content and the development for the right. But the basic thing is it should have a 30-day money-back guarantee. What you need to do is buy one course, dig into it, and if you don't like it, send it back.
Yeah, I had a system here and I learned how to do some things, and I really appreciated the way the company did it because they took you through steps. And, there was the basic training that was very affordable. It was a monthly type thing. If after the 30 days you didn't think it was good for you, you could opt out of it. But then the more advanced courses were one-time pay, and they were more expensive, but you were getting more content. And if you got through to those courses, what they were offering you were going to more than make up what the value of that cost, your ROI on that. Mm-hmm. So it was, I really appreciate it. And that company does very well because they're not trying to make a bunch of money on selling courses that people don't use and then run and hide.
Yeah. The affiliate world is interesting too. Talk to Me guy real fast says, what is your preferred contact management manager on what let's see, on your own computer or where? So you use not Constant Contact. I
use Get Response.
Yeah, that's a good one.
I have Get Response. I've been very pleased with it. I was able to. I had AWeber. I was able to move my list from AWeber to Get Response, where a lot of them won't let you do that. They only charge for the emails that are active. So I'll often go in there and clean it out. Because some of them, will charge you per email, and that's, based on that, the cost goes up. And then I'm able to, send a message. If I want to go on and send a message, I can send as many messages. So I Get Response works well for me. I was able to put my auto respond message series in there. It works for me.
So Mike, quick question on Get Response. Can you make a CV file or an Excel file out of it?
Yes.
CV. Yep. As long as that's one of the things you have to have. Anything you use, that's the first thing, is be able to export out your list into fields. Because if you export it out, that means you can put it to another site anywhere by importing it.
Right. I mean, mine's sitting right on my desktop here.
We could have a big discussion. That would be a good discussion to go into detail always. But let me tell you, the first thing I think you need to do, I'm a big fan of Gmail and Google, is go with Google and get a business Google account for $5 a month. And learn how to use Gmail inside and out to organize it and keep your list as you build your company. as you start getting names. I wish there was a better integration with Gmail and different systems because Gmail is actually a pretty good platform once you manage it and understand it. You're limited to 500 emails a day that you can send out. But the CRM, I have, Infusionsoft, and I keep it 1 month at a time. I can export it out, but I'm not happy with Infusionsoft. I used to use Aweber. I like that better. One thing I would say is don't even consider Infusionsoft until you have about a 2,000 person name list and you have some money to really invest. I'd say $5,000 to $7,000 to invest into a good, what they call Infusionsoft partner, and to manage and run your sites and set you up initially. And then you're going to put a lot of time into training. The training that the Infusionsoft does, at least my experience was, they require you to do training with them. And if you can avoid that, I would, because my trainers were very young. They're just starting in business, and they were basically going there to learn how to do online marketing and business. So I was really disappointed in the quality of the trainers I got from Infusionsoft, and they didn't understand my business at all.
And then, too, with that said, you mentioned 2,000. That's a 2,000 person list that's engaged with you, right? Not a 2,000 person list that you bought or that you picked up from Facebook or something.
That's buying lists.
Yeah, do not buy lists. Do not buy lists. Do not buy lists.
Let me tell you, the kids was pushing when I was on just using crappy lists, because I have a lot of crappy lists. And I said, no, I don't want to put these crappy lists on. And yeah, you got to put the crappy lists on. And no, I don't want to put the crappy lists on and sorting them out.
Well, right. And I don't know about Infusionsoft, but I know like with Get Response, I mean, you're paying more as your list grows.
And you get a rating too. If you send them out and you get like a few people say spam off of one of your lists, you start getting ratings and numbers, and that hurts you too. So just be careful. It's better to have 200 or 300 really good people than 2,000 bot lists or 3,000 or 20,000. The story we always come back with is one of our friends spent $37,000 between buying lists and going to how to make money online from guy starts with B. I won't say his name, but he's one of the top people. You'd recognize his name if you said him. So that's this is the thing that we don't talk about in podcasts. We record it behind the scenes.
Well, and it's not unique to the online. My wife, she has a local businessman here who paid $30,000 to a local company here to do branding and all the other stuff. And he claims he got nothing out of it. And my conversation with her is, why wouldn't this guy go after this company if it provided nothing for them when he's spending that much? Because we kind of figured with his business, his gross receipts might be $500,000. So he almost spent 10%, 7% of his gross receipts on online marketing. Got nothing out of it. So something's missing here. But it's not just exclusive to the online world either. This was a local business purchasing this from a local company for branding and SEO and marketing, and he got nothing out of it.
So our real estate company used to spend on average we still have it, it's not like it used to be, $5,000 a month on marketing. And we made that money back, and we used the real estate magazine. We had the centerfold with all our houses in them, and we used publications, but you never really know exactly what's making the money or what's working, what's not working. There's a lot of stuff that doesn't work that you pay for. So, gosh darn it, I'm in the real estate side, and the real estate agents still get hit with lots and lots of people doing and trying stuff. Mm-hmm. It just inch by inch, it's and they get washed out too. It's a tough business. So what else do we have here? Let's see. I dropped that in exactly. I just dropped in Mary Sheehan's, your wife's, a little presentation. I thought she had a good website, by the way. I thought she looked pretty solid. Mm-hmm. It's a lot of work, what she's trying to do. She's trying to speak and trying to get the message out, right?
Yep.
Now, did you help her on her program?
I did not. Oil and water. I did not.
It's like my wife.
She sought out her own experts, her own coaches, her own people, and kind of worked it out all herself. I mean, I said, I'm on Get Response. I think she was on Aweber. I mean, yeah, it was oil and water.
Hey, next week for the positive side.
Yes.
Let's talk about how you find a coach and when you need a coach and if you ever used a coach. I probably have failed in that area. I should have had coaches at different times.
No, I'd love to talk about that. I have my own personal experience. I think that people could benefit from. So,
And how much do you pay a coach? We'll talk about that in the second half. Any specific the scams you want to talk about next week? Anybody have any ideas? Send them to us.
Yeah, anyone with ideas, and I know one, and I can reach out to him. I was listening to one last night on what new home buyers need to look for.
Oh, that'd be great. That's my business.
Yeah,
new home buyers. You mean
somebody who's going out to buy for the first time?
We say first time buyers.
First time buyers. What they need to look out for from a realtor standpoint, from a mortgage lender.
That would be good. That's a good one. That's what we'll look at next time.
Because I can, maybe the time after. I mean, I can reach out to this one gentleman, and I'm sure he'd be happy to come in as a guest, and because he's on the mortgage side. So
that would be good. Bring him in on the mortgage. See if we can do that next Friday. That would be really, really good. And I've got some other people
on the top of the hour, and I do apologize. It never fails. I had a bunch of calls coming in here and stuff I got to deal with between.
We don't want to go more than an hour on this show, just 1 hour, and then we have to get to work because that's how you make money. By the way, what I'm working on right now, this is what my mission is. I'm going to edit the show. My mission the rest of the day is to build that one course of how to do that check mark, and then build an email list so I can start getting email. And hey, little things, folks, like I'm doing now Blab is an easy platform to learn in closing, but it's a grind. I mean, it's a good grind. It's something I really enjoy doing. So if you enjoy doing it and work, that's even better. Let's get your numbers up, Mike. Is putting out the shows. This is show 212. And it takes me about an hour and a half to edit. And I had to understand how to do WordPress to do this. And like Mike is doing the show, but I'm doing the WordPress site. So, and then I'm turning it into a podcast. You don't have to turn it into a podcast. By the way, one of the top podcast courses charges $1,000 to learn how to do it, to join the group, to see the tutorials. What do you think? That's a little high.
It's all relative. I mean, I don't know. It's relative to the quality of what you're going to get and what you're willing to spend. So there's that balance in there. I mean, I think when we talk about that next week, coaches and stuff, that's again would be part of that conversation. It's strictly not the aspect of cost because, based on that, I mean, a $1995 course could change your life as much as a $1,995 course.
Another thing we can talk about is MLM someday too.
Sure.
And, should you be in one? Should you not be in one? And that's another good. By the way, talk to me, Guy. I just followed you on Twitter. I love Twitter for communications. And
just as on the show, I was just going to say, as I'm kind of signing off here, my love, what I've done for many, many years in the life insurance world. I got the link there. Let me just give you a quick story. Just happened this week. The longer I'm in the life insurance world, I start to get those phone calls. I got the phone call from the wife. Husband had passed away. It was a very, it's always a very good feeling inside that I know that I'm able to do something for her on a financial basis that nobody else can do. I talked to her again this week. She got the check. And then we're going to sit down and figure out what we need to do with that. But she's in a comfortable place at a very difficult time. And that's why I love what I do as far as the life insurance. And if you go to that link, that's the way you can find me if you want to have a discussion about your life insurance plan or the life insurance for your business.
Yep. And all I can say is just come to one of our sites and sign up. The best thing you can do for me is sign up for the email so I can give you links. And then I am going to come up with that $5 course. I don't know how long I'll keep it $5. I was going to try to give some free ones out today, but I don't have it set up. But that's the way to start, is get a solid foundation and build up inch by inch. I've been working a long time on this. And also just apply your business to a traditional business, whatever that might be. Hey, thanks, everybody. We want your input. Please send us emails. I'm Bill@ConradTeam.com. Also, remember, timelinesofsuccess.com is one of my biggest shows. All of the podcasts, all the shows go in there. We also have the weekly scam, weeklyscam.com, and you can find, you'll find more sites. Hey, where I'm guilty, I need to have, maybe I'm more cautious, but I need to have more people sign up and keep them abreast on email. A good list though, good people though.
Yeah.
So
all right.
I'm going to finish up. Let me pause.
Things next week, because I said I'm going to be, my daughter's 21 tomorrow, one of my number 4 daughters, so we're going to be celebrating with her around that time that the show's going to be on. So
And I just want to put this back on the recording. Reminder: tomorrow, episode 213 is WP Tonic. It's WordPress graphic design. Special guest is Bridget Willard, 9:00 Pacific. We're going to review the 3 pages that were on timelines this week, and then anyone else who has a page they want reviewed, we'll look at that page. All right. See you later, guys. See you, Mike.
All right. Take care.
Hey, where are you going? You told me where you're going. Is it birthday?
Oh, we're just going down to pick her up at college. We're going down to Columbus, down where Ohio State is, kind of hang out with some of her friends, have dinner, go. We didn't know what to buy her, so we're going to take her shopping. So just that kind of stuff.
Well, you can do on your iPhone or your smartphone, you can always listen on Blab.
Right. No, I might be able to get on, but I said, just in case I can't, I didn't want to, I wanted to be able to take advantage. And then, because, Mark had some questions. We need to talk with him next week on what we might do and what you might be able to do to make some money with what he has. So, okay.
Oh yeah. You know what? Hey, that's the other side of this. We didn't talk about that. If you have an idea, a legitimate idea that can help people and build, like I'm big into affiliates. Affiliate accounts are good. You should use affiliates.
Yep.
If you have a good product, always use your affiliates. If you go to Timelines of Success, on Timelines, I've got a site which will bring called Resources. All resources are all my affiliate accounts, and those are all tested site. Like SiteGround is my by far favorite right now. I own Bluehost, SiteGround, and DigitalOcean. They're all okay, but SiteGround by far is the best value, I think, right now. And then we've got the links to the ATR 2100 and the ProLine Desktop Boom. And if you use those links, I get a 4% commission. But I think everyone should be using affiliate systems.
Absolutely.
And then let me put the link to the store. I got, about Amazon, I'm really cautious. They don't like you linking in some places because it's hard to explain. So they want you to link through something. So because if I drop my Amazon direct count onto the social media, they don't like it. But if you go down to the other and that resource link up above, that Netcasting 101 resources, and you hit the link to the store, you'll see the store. But I think if I drop that directly on, I don't know. It's mixed feelings. Amazon's a strange beast. Anybody, you know what? I'd love to have Amazon stories on our show. Anybody's had Amazon accounts that had success or not had success.
I use Amazon.
That'd be a great topic. Think about topics. That's another great topic.
I sell on Amazon. I haven't done much lately, but I have. So I have my the things I did right and the things I did wrong.
You actually sell on Amazon? Like, I'm not sure if I can even drop this in here with Amazon. Who knows? I think I can, but I'm not. They're weird. But that's the direct link to the few things that I really like if you hook it there.
Well, yeah, if you have a seller account, you should be able to share your link. I mean, it would only make sense.
But that's the store. I mean, they got to be careful because they got so many.
I don't have Amazon store. I mean, so that may be the difference.
What are you reselling on it?
I'll find things. Well, I do it a multiple of ways. I'll find something on eBay, push it through Amazon, do it as a drop ship. I may be in a grocery store or a Walmart or something, see some clearance items. I have some software where I can look at their code there.
Wow. And
then it'll tell me what it'll sell on Amazon. So if it's a big enough profit, let's say it's 10 George Foreman grills and Walmart's selling them for $20 and I'll see that Amazon's selling them for 35. Amazon, it'll tell me the profit and there might be 10 of them. I might grab 10 of them. Amazon tells me where to ship them.
Really?
I use Amazon shipping, which is pennies.
That's how it works? You actually ship them to Amazon?
Yeah.
Wow. I didn't know that. You'll have to give a class. That's another one. Let's talk about Amazon. That's a great experience, Mike. And bring other people on. Wow.
So anyways, yeah. So I haven't done it in a while, but I did do it because, again, you're loading the car up with stuff because it is a volume play. I mean,
I'd love to have my 16, 17-year-old kids. I mean, my daughters are 13 and 15, going to be 16 when they can drive. Do something like that for a business.
Yeah, I know people, they just drive around to the dollar stores and to Walmarts and stuff, and they try to find closeouts and they try to see, hey, is there value in me purchasing this? They'll buy the whole lot of it, and then they go and again, they'll go to Amazon, and Amazon will tell you, send 6 here, send 10 here.
Wow.
Send 5 here because, if you've noticed now, Amazon is delivering on Sundays. So via U.S. mail.
Pat, that would be good. You go ahead and figure out how to sell those toys on Amazon. We'll have to do a course, and you have to come on and speak and tell us.
What you do, you can't sell anything used. If you're going to sell used, you got to do that on eBay. So
no, and she makes toys.
Well, yeah. Again, I don't know if it's a non-packed consumer item, because Amazon, you got to put codes on it. There has to be, there's the right way of doing it. She would probably be better off selling on eBay than on Amazon if it's something that she was making herself. So,
well, let's lay this out.
Anyway.
You and I need to talk offline. We need to lay out, like, to do the scam, and then we should have changed the title, like, how to do Amazon, how to do eBay.
Yep.
After the weekly scam, because we want positive stuff too. Bottom line is work hard, get smart, and study.
And anyways, I got to jump off because I got.
All right, we're going to see you guys. We're definitely jumping now.